Yo, what's going on, guys? Sorry it's been a long time, but I just haven't been able to get out to my normal shooting spot. But here's my newest edition. And I just want to add that this is after that crazy bill. I think it's like SB25 or whatever. Anyways, I wanted to just cover what you can still buy. So after August 1st here in Colorado, you can still buy Glocks, SIGs, any kind of pistol, you know, that takes a detachable magazine. You can still have 15 round mags. And so basically they're just saying you can't have AR-15s, AK-47s, and other firearms that have detachable magazines and gas tubes. So that means no AR pistols, no AK pistols, or any of that sort. But if your rifle has a gas tube operated recoil system and a fixed magazine, you can still buy that without jumping through the hoops of the firearm safety course and background checks and yada yada yada. Also, so that means SKS rifles, you can still just go to this gun store and buy them. Mini 14s, mini 30s, stuff like that. I also think that pistol carbines, such as like a Ruger PC Charger, basically anything that is recoil spring operated and not gas tube operated. But yeah, I am going to show you more of this pistol. Alrighty guys, here is my newest addition, the Glock 43, and I will do the safety check. Nothing in the barrel, extra safe. It came with two 6-round magazines, so you got 6 in the mag and 1 in the chamber if you decide you want to carry that way. Also, I'd like to show you this PSA micro Dagger frame here. So I will just swap it out. Now I have a 15 round magazine and basically a micro Dagger. Isn't that cool? So now I have the option of going with you know, subcompact micro slimline, or I can just switch it to a micro Dagger size. And I would say I have XL palms and all that, and then like large fingers. So this feels a lot better for me. That's why I decided to go with it. But I will mainly carry with this bad boy right here with the 6-round magazine. That will be the summer carry, warmer weather carry, or overall just when I don't really want to feel a chunky, you know, Glock 27 or a Glock 26. Here's the size comparison for you. As you can see, they're pretty much the same here. Hang on. Anyway, you get the gist of it. They're pretty much the same pistol, just one's a little thicker, you know what I mean? And for me personally, this one's okay, but I find when I draw, also I might as well do the safety check here. When I draw and I'm trying to go for a good grip, and then I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna go like this, and then I come up here and you do the Hulk smash with these two fingers. That causes my stubby finger to kind of line up wrong. It feels very funky on the trigger, and so then I gotta quickly adjust how I'm holding it. So to me, that's just taking up valuable time when I'm gonna need it. Whereas slimline pistol, like look how much farther my finger is on the trigger guard versus this guy. So you can see I have a better purchase. So I think that I'm just built for slimline pistols when it comes to Glocks or 1911 pistols. That they feel good, but I'm not going to carry one. That's just my own personal opinion. There's too much that can go wrong, too much that can fail. And also I'd like to mention that this is a Glock 27 Gen 3. I shaved off the finger grooves, and also I gave myself a little bit more of a finger groove up here in the trigger guard, because I don't, this is where it's at right here. I like this, it's just flat. And then let's see what else. Also, if you're in the market for like micro subcompact kind of pistols and you don't want to go to 9mm like I did, I went from 40 to 9mm. I'm going to be carrying plus P 9mm in here, and that's all I'm going to trust it with. I won't carry standard pressure rounds in 9mm. If you don't want to sway from 40, you can get a Smith & Wesson MP40 Shield 1.0 or 2.0, and it'll be slimmer than your Glock 27 here. And then also in comparison, this is a Glock 23, which I added all the internals of my Glock. As you can tell, it is a PSA Dagger frame, but I have the Glock trigger and also the Glock trigger housing, yada yada. So now I just have the PSA slide release, and then the mag release, and then my slide lock or slide release is the Glock original as well. So now I trust this like a Glock. No, I have not taken it out, but just by putting the slide on with the the Glock trigger housing, it lines up so much easier. Such as this will be a good example too. So this slides right on. If I can just line it up on camera, that'd be great. So it slides on just like that, right? Now I will take the micro dagger, and then I will show you. So this is what happens. This is what happened on the Dagger slide and all that. See how it just lines up funky? Like, what is that, dude? I just did something funky with this. This has the PSA micro dagger internal still. It has the trigger housing, and the slide release, all that. But I'm gonna be replacing it. I will get, instead of swapping over, I'm gonna order trigger housing and trigger assembly from Glock, and not from Glock, but the OEM. So this is what was happening with the PSA Dagger with the just regular internals too. It goes in sloppy. It just feels clunky. Versus if I put it, you know, on the original housing, it just goes right in. It's just how it should be. And so that's why I converted this over here to Glock internals, because it just feels right. So I'm assuming it's just gonna feel right. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna perform how it should. That's what I'm trying to say. It'll perform like a Glock. So here is the lineup. I have the 27, 23, and then the 43. So if you didn't know for some reason, by chance, this is the size comparison here. So with this pinky extender, it's about the same length. No, it's not actually. Yeah, I would say it's almost the same length as your 23. And so I will show you the micro Dagger frame. Basically making a 43X side by side with your Glock 23. So you can see it's pretty much the same. Yeah, there you go. That's a better look there. So you're getting the same grip with a subcompact size slide, as you can tell here with the 27. And also I will be getting a Glock 48 slide so that I can have a complete Glock 48, because the Glock 48 comes with the compact pistol frame, but then you have the length of your compact slide, so it's a slim Glock 19. So I will just complete that little trifecta when I have time to. So as long as we're on the topic still of changing frames, I have essentially the long frame for the Dagger. So I can switch over to this full-size frame essentially, and then make myself a 40 Smith & Wesson crossover, just like the G45 in 9mm, but they don't have one in 40 Smith & Wesson. But with this frame, you can achieve it if you wanted to. I do have a Glock 22, but I chopped down the grip. So here is the crossover Glock 23 full-size frame. Here is my Glock 22 with a mag sleeve. I chopped down the grip to be Glock 23 size. So now it's got a Glock 23 magazine. So you see these two together, you can see that the frame's basically the same. Well, no, I lied, sorry. Now the frame is the same length as a compact. And yeah, so I just thought I'd share, if you didn't know these things about the Glocks. full-size magazine, full-size grip, mag extension, you know. You can just do this all freaking day. Like, I'm sure all of you know this because I feel like I'm reaching out to maybe new people that are wanting to get into Glocks, or people that have been shooting Glocks longer than I've been alive. Anyways, you know, I have a lot of fun with this, but always I want to add, practice firearm safety, get yourself some training. I think training should be free. That's my personal opinion. And all these laws, I think it's just the state of Colorado's way of making back of the deficit that they obtained by bringing in all these illegal immigrants and putting them up in those apartment complexes or the hotels free of expense, giving them money just for being alive. Wouldn't that be nice? That's another whole new topic, but I feel like all these freaking things that they do to law-abiding citizens, all these laws, it's an infringement on our rights. And you can feel any sort of way you want about muskets and the forefathers, but I'm not gonna listen to you because it's nonsense to me. I think we should be able to have what police have and the military has without any question. I do believe that there should be restrictions on people who are mentally ill or, you know, extremely violent. And I think, yes, if you commit a crime with a firearm, it should definitely like hinder your rights. Absolutely. Should you lose them forever? Depends on what you did. But I think that even then you can, I don't know, do some sort of probation or take some classes. Everybody deserves a chance. I think felons should be able to own firearms, especially if their crime wasn't with a firearm. For one, that's a huge thing. Like, you can get a felony doing a lot of stuff, but if you didn't use a freaking gun, I don't think that should, you know, deter anyone from owning a gun. Everybody deserves the right to defend themselves and their families. And that's another thing. This gun is good for females, because I have large size fingers, I guess. Females have long, slender hands. You know, they can easily use a Glock, but honestly, this Glock 43 or a Glock 43X, Glock 48. It's perfect platform for you guys too. You guys gotta consider the extra recoil snap from it, but I mean, if you have small lady hands, whether you're a guy or or a lady, the slimline is for you. I mean, it's even for me, and I got XL freaking palms, hands, whatever you want to say, but I got large size fingers. I got small stubby fingers. I guess they're not small, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. So that's my little brief update, I suppose. Thank you if you hung out until the end. Yeah, I will see you when I'm out on the range with this Glock 43 and my newly converted over, you know what I mean. Cut. Alright guys, I'd also like to add, if you are going to do a 40 Smith & Wesson with your PSA Dagger frame kind of swap over, you're going to want to change the ejectors. This is for the Dagger size, compact Dagger size. it has the 40 Smith & Wesson ejector. It basically has all OEM Glock Eternals. This one, for the Dagger size, I guess you want to call it, yeah, Dagger full size S. I don't have the trigger housing swapped over yet, so you can see the difference in your ejector. You don't want that when you're shooting 40 Smith & Wesson, because the rounds, the cartridges themselves are different sizes. So the 9mm ejector, you can see it has a bend to it, whereas your 40 Smith & Wesson ejector does not. And if you try to shoot 40 Smith & Wesson with a 9mm ejector, you have a chance of popping off a round, essentially, and that's not a good day. You don't want that. No, it's not going to make it fully auto. No, I'm talking about malfunction of like the worst kind, because when your slide goes back and it's trying to pick up another round, your round has your primer has a chance of going off with a 9mm ejector. So if you're going to do this and you want to keep your PSA internals, I would, you know, pop the pin off, pull out your trigger housing, and then you can pull your ejector out with some pliers, and then all you got to do is put the 40 Smith & Wesson ejector right where you pulled this one out of. It's simple as that. I'm not going to try to show anybody anything. I don't want to get demonetized before I even start making money. I don't want to get flagged, you know, but YouTube's whatever. If I do get 500 subscribers, I'm going to consider some work attire, such as high-vis shirts, hoodies, regular colored shirts, hoodies, you know, just casual stuff that would be good for concealed carry. I mean, heck, I'll make my own tie-dye. How about that? Tie-dye is really good. It distorts the print if you do print. And hey, I'll do cool colors. I'll do camouflage tie-dye. I'll do bright colors, you know, what have you. Yeah, that's another story. But thanks for stopping by, and if you made it here till the end, I really appreciate you. And also, if you want to, like and subscribe. Hope to see you guys again, and I will see you next time.